Hello everyone, hi, how are you guys doing today? Welcome back to another reaction episode to Doctor Who. This is live, my name is Matt. Hello, what's up? Oh man, we're back. We're back with Doctor Who. I am very excited today. So, hi. So, last time on Doctor Who, we had a Christmas episode, Church and Ruby Road. It was also the introduction to a new era of the show, although not quite, because we already had a couple of specials for the 60-year anniversary that were already kind of transitioning into this new era of the show, because they are now being ran by Russell T Davies once more. Very excited about that. But last time we had the first episode that fully featured Ncuti Gatwa's the 15th Doctor. It was a good episode. He had a very fun vibe. He was also very caring, very warm. I was a very big fan of that, because I feel like we've had doctors that were warm before, but I feel like there usually is some kind of like negative like energy or baggage that the Doctor holds, not in every incarnation but in a lot of them, and this one came out immediately reassuring the previous one, essentially just going like, hey man, like it's gonna be okay, like you need some time and it's fine, because and like the energy he came out with was one of like very joyous to experience life, and he is very happy to have that with other people, and I'm a big fan of that. We'll see how this goes, but this to me feels like it's gonna be a very fun season. We got introduced to Ruby Sunday. We'll see what kind of character Ruby is and how she develops throughout this season. I'm excited to see how this goes. Like, the dynamic was fun in the first episode in Ruby Road. It was fun. So we'll see now how the season goes. And I will say that apparently 2 episodes aired. I'm only going to be recording the first one right now. I'll record the second one whenever I have the time for it. I have to finish editing the finale for Buffy season 4 that I just recorded, and I have to do some Angel videos before I take a small break, and then I can just focus fully in this season of Doctor Who for like a little bit, for like a month. But right now I'll just get through Doctor Who as I am able to. You might be able to find some of the later Doctor Who episodes on my Patreon already. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do this, because this is a season that is just airing as we speak. So yeah, I have no idea how this is going to go. I'm just going to watch it, and then I'll figure it out. All right. I just mentioned it, but Patreon. Check out the Patreon, link in the description below, pop up on screen. You can support the channel and watch full-length reactions for these episodes, these Doctor Who episodes, as well as all the other Doctor Who stuff that I've done over the years. And maybe early episodes, I'm not sure. But yeah, adding an extra thing here because I forgot to mention it before, but you can watch this first episode in full length for free over in the link in the description below. I'm gonna publish it there so you can watch this episode alongside me. This applies to the first episode of the season. You can do so again for future episodes if you go to my Patreon and join in. But this first one is for free, so yeah, that's cool. Let's begin. Doctor Who Series 14, or 1. I have no idea how we're gonna do this, but Series 14 was Season 1, Episode 1. Let's go. Space baby. That's a goofy title.
It's called the TARDIS.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Nice lighting. Love it.
They're kind of posh. Titles like the Doctor or the Bishop or the Rani.
God, I would love for the Rani to come back.
The police?
Police box. No. That's a disguise. It's once I landed in 1963 and they used to have police boxes on street corners.
Yep.
1963?
This feels like a lot of exposition for like newer fans.
Back to the planet.
The world is called Gallifrey.
Yep.
Gallifrey. And where's that?
Yep.
They died. It was a genocide and they died. So the one that was adopted was the only one left. I am the last of the Time Lords.
Again.
And I am so glad to be alive. This thing flies. Do you want to see?
They're floating.
Let's have a random landing.
That's fun. I love fun.
150 million years in the past.
No.
Pass.
No, wait, no. Is it safe? What if I change history by stepping on a butterfly or something?
Well, that's not gonna happen, is it? Who steps on butterflies? You literally have to be like, wait, come here, butterfly, come here, have it.
Good point.
That
Yeah.
TARDIS stands for
Time and relative dimension in space. Or totally and radically driving in space. Either one works.
One day this is Wyoming.
Hell yeah, Doctor Who hits Wyoming. That's what we needed. There's a volcano right there at the back.
Oh!
What's wrong? Did I do something wrong? Because I'm Rubicon Blue of the 57th Hemisphere Hatchlings, and I do not do wrong things, Doctor.
But
If you have made an incorrect accusation, I will have to kill you.
no. Just wait. Wait a minute.
Am I missing something?
That was so random. That was so fucking random. And so fucking funny. That was so silly.
The butterfly compensation switch.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, 6.
Okay, now we're on a spaceship. That first trip really felt like, again, like a beginning of the show to catching new people, being like, yeah, we could go to the past, see all the dinosaurs and shit. The butterfly effect. We fixed it. Don't worry about it.
But you said the TARDIS was like a chameleon.
Yeah, it's broken. Don't worry about it.
Most of the universe is knackered, babes.
This is the universe, Naka babes. Good line. I mean, yeah, look at this place. This is a piece of shit.
What is wrong with this place? It is a space station.
What's out there? What's coming? It's not. It's gonna be something funny. A baby. Okay, maybe it's a buzz. Okay. Yeah. That moved quickly. Ooh. I like that. You saw very little, but what you did saw was kind of freaky. The way it's moving had like long fingers and shit. Yeah.
Why did I run?
Huh?
Because it was scary.
It was new. I love meeting new things, so why did it give me the shivers? Push the button.
Are those babies in those flasks? Oh yeah, there are. Oh, I don't like it.
A baby for?
I don't like it. I don't like it.
What is it with you and babies?
I was going to say the same thing to you.
That's true. We just had a baby episode. Cool. Okay.
We made it. The human race, we survived. We went to the stars.
You never stop. I watched you all die, and it was at the end of the universe in the year 5 trillion.
Your people are gone.
Yeah,
How do you keep going?
for days like this, Ruby Sunday. I don't have a people, I don't have a home. But I don't have a job either. I don't have a boss or taxes or rent or bills to pay. I don't have a purpose or a cause or a mission, but I have freedom.
That's cool.
And so I keep moving on to see the next thing, and the next, and the next. Sometimes it looks even better through your eyes. Planet Pacifico del Rio.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's in English.
No. Humans don't speak one language by this point. A bit like Cantonese.
Also, Pacifico del Rio. That was in English.
Mom, she's long gone now.
Can I see your phone?
Oh, it's gonna make it so she could call her. He did this. I don't remember if he did this with Rose or with Martha or both.
That was my mom. On Christmas Eve, on my birthday, 10 minutes ago. That's the best signal ever. How much that cost?
It's got to be a crew or a captain.
The crew are the babies.
6. I keep getting these temperature fluctuations.
I can't believe I'm right.
Hi.
We've been waiting for an awfully long time. Mummy, Daddy,
Oh no!
No, darling, we're not.
what's up, everybody? Mummy and Daddy are here.
This is a very interesting first episode for a season. Space babies. He looks so happy. They both seem so happy. You know, there are people out there that are incredibly, like, losing their minds at how cute babies are. I am not one of those people. I don't give a fuck about these babies. But I'm here to have a good time.
Everyone back to work. Show Mummy and Daddy what a good job we've been doing. Make them proud.
Seeing them talk is so weird because they clearly recorded real babies, but the way that they're making them speak I mean, it's clearly VO, but also I think they're using CG for their mouth movements. They don't use CG for the entire face because that would look too off. But it already looks off because babies are not acting, they're just babies.
We took over. We were very brave.
Oh, okay.
Right.
A baby uprising?
They left us. Where did they go?
I don't know, darling. Yeah, I got you. I got you. I got you.
Oh, we're gonna have our hands full.
When was the last time that you had a hug?
Never.
Oh.
Oh, baby, it's okay. Come on here, it's okay. It's okay, it's okay. Shh, 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 shh. It's alright.
So there's some monster downstairs. We don't know if it's a monster. Maybe it's a friend. But there's like 50 babies and a monster in the spaceship. What do we do?
They abandoned ship and they left you guys behind. I don't know why, but they left the birth machine running. So you lot grew up, but you stayed the same size. Baby size. Space babies.
But are we wrong? We're not meant to be like this. Did we grow up wrong?
Oh, Bobby. Nobody grows up wrong. You are what you are, and that is magnificent.
But Mommy and Daddy left us.
That's okay. Mine did too. Little baby me was left alone in the middle of outer space. And guess who took me in?
I don't know.
The Time Lords.
Ooh, don't have a story.
It doesn't matter where I come from, because I am absolutely lovely, aren't I?
He loves feeling himself.
You wanna know my secret? There's no one like me in the whole wide universe. No one like me exists, and that's true everywhere.
It applies to everyone. Remember that.
It's a superpower. High five.
So, you're Eric.
This is kind of really fun. So these babies, they're adults. They just didn't grow. They were kept like this.
1, 2, 3, and blow. Well done, children. Nappies are changed at 1800 hours.
Oh, can't wait to see that.
Downstairs, is that your pet dog?
Okay, they don't like it.
We don't like the bogeyman. There is no such thing as the bogeyman. That thing was more sort of like a
Bogeyman!
Nanny, you tell them there is no such thing as the bogeyman.
Nanny is scared of the bogeyman.
Okay, so it has a thing that makes you afraid of it. Because even Nanny is afraid of it. Nanny's a machine. So it is, like the doctor said earlier, there is something about it that makes you afraid of it.
But this station is in trouble. You have got a build-up of pressure on hull 3B, and something is ramping up down where the bogeyman lives. And if that continues, baby boom.
Portal 357.
Okay, what's that?
Access. Portal 357.
It is just a storage unit. What would I need to go there for?
Oh, for God's sakes. 357, come on!
Okay, I see. It is not an AI. It is not a machine.
Helping babies, space babies. Ah, listen to my hearts, 2 hearts.
Just so we're clear.
Strange. Your life, you were abandoned like this, Lord. If things connect, then you are connecting like crazy.
I wonder if this entire season is going to be about, like, these connections. Back here. I remember this. Oh, that's new. Why is it snowing indoors?
It's like a memory just came through from the day that you were born.
It's like remembering something materialized it into reality somehow.
Oh, I thought my birth was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
He was crying.
The memory changed. She was pointing at me.
The memory changed?
Don't just stand there yapping, you pair of idiots.
Okay.
Who's she?
Nanny.
For the record, I'm signing off under protest and wish to condemn this course of action.
Chief Engineer Luciano Santo, signing off 565622. Comms Officer Gina Scalzi, signing off.
So the company just left them and the entire crew just...
The government closed the baby station to save money, but the law says it's illegal to stop the birth machine. Jocelyn Sancerre, I was the on-site accountant. I don't know how this place works.
Refuse to stop the babies being born.
Yeah, because of the law.
They don't look after me.
Yeah, because of capitalism.
Strange planet.
It's not that strange.
But you stayed behind.
Yeah.
Don't leave them. But I'm not an engineer.
I like that.
The machine went out of sync. I patched it back. And I've been all on my own, watching the kids for 6 years.
I guess it's been 6 years.
Gorgeous. Why would you hide?
Because I don't want to see them die. And I don't want them to see me die. There's only so much air, there's only so much food.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's a monster downstairs as well.
Can't you fly somewhere else?
Space station, stationary.
Yeah, it's not a ship.
The 5th planet out, Mondu Karun. That's the Dubarry Duplessis world.
Oh, that's good. The Dubarry Duplessis is a star-wide organization. Means it can take in lots of refugees.
You physically have to turn up on someone else's shore.
Oh, you have a ship. Plenty of room. It's called the TARDIS. The trouble is, between us and the ship is the bogeyman.
Whatever this is.
What is that thing?
You don't know.
When did it show up? Something's going on in the ship that makes things real. The kids are afraid of the boogeyman, and they materialized it.
Was I so scared?
Because it's terrifying.
Yeah, but I've met a million ugly bugs. I'm an ugly bug. That thing made me run.
Because the boogeyman's scary, so it's part of the mythos of the creature. In the same way that when you thought about Snow, it became real.
You've got babies. You've got a nanny.
She doesn't want to see the babies die so they don't grow up, so they don't age. I'm cooking.
Every story has its hero.
Oh God! No! No, Eric! Don't do it! He's going in with a tiny sword! Nah, new filter.
Being brave.
Oh God. Maybe he'll win because heroes win.
I love Ruby. She said there's no such thing as the bogeyman. So I'm going to find the naughty doggo and tell him off. Well, I'm so scared.
Oh my God, it's my fault! Eric, I'm coming.
Okay, we're going. There's no fucking way they killed them. That would be fucking nuts.
I told you these systems are a crock of waste products.
Mind your language now.
Oh, that's a fun censoring.
Make a ton of noise, then the bogeyman will come for us and leave Eric alone, yes?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
right.
yes.
Bogeyman!
I like that was such a basic idea and he was like, yes, okay, let's do that.
Space baby.
But now it's coming again anyway. Like,
Illegitimate person.
illegitimate person. I like that you can kind of tell.
Babies to the rescue!
Oh my fucking God. Babies with flamethrowers.
Space babies, you need to go. Okay, get out of here.
Bye, babies. Bye.
If that's you telling me to leave you on your own, then... Oh, don't
Doesn't work like that. True companion. Just don't end up like Clara Oswald. Don't do it.
First I knew, 6 years ago.
Okay.
The time I got the cameras working, there it was.
So it just showed up.
I don't know how it even exists.
Yeah, like, what does it feed on and shit?
That's the same time the babies were born.
She read the babies a story about the boogeyman or something, and it became real.
What the bleep bleep is that?
Ooh.
Belly of the beast.
Okay, I see.
This is disgusting!
Was-
Don't call me Rubes!
We are right under the Parthenogenesis machine.
So, is it created by waste of the babies or
The
something?
machine is mother and father to the babies and mother and father to the bogeyman.
And why? Because Jocelyn said that the educational software ran out of control, and then you
Said
said
it's like a story. The teaching software told a story.
Okay. It produced a story.
built it out of. Oh, Ruby.
What?
Oh man. A bogeyman is made out of what?
I don't know.
The machine is literal, and the name is bogeyman. Oh, babes. Space babes. We saw it. The nose blowing. The machine was literal, and so it grew the bogeyman out.
No.
It's not.
It's not.
You're covered in it. Oh, I love this doctor. I love how he was losing his shit.
It's catching up. You can tell me later, once I've got rid of it. I will protect my children and blast that thing to space.
Oh.
It is one of the children, Jocelyn!
Yeah.
Stop, Jocelyn, yeah?
Okay, yeah.
9%.
Isn't this like...
Stop it, Nanny. Stop it.
Even the babies are like, stop it. Isn't it also getting rid of some of the precious oxygen we need?
The last of the Time Lords. No one else like me exists.
It applies to this thing as well.
That is true of everyone.
Yeah.
Oxygen 0%.
Oh my god.
Oxygen 0%.
This fucking insane madman. Did yourself go and try to hit that button.
Oxygen fuel at 2%. Venting. Reverse. Venting. Reverse.
No, that's what you do, Jocelyn. You save them all.
Close. Oh boy. Can we breathe now?
You save them all.
Attention! Calling Captain Poppy, Eric, plus Ruby, Jocelyn Sonsair.
Nanny was really naughty.
I know, and I'm so sorry. It was just on my own. It was such a very long time.
We still love you, Nanny.
I like that she says that. Why does he howl like a wolf?
Space babies, your world is over here. World of Mondokaroon. Got no engines. Except, turns out that built-up oppression hull 3B is from you. Because the system went wrong, and that's where it stacked up all your nappies. For 6 years, a great pile of nanny filter fizzle. I am gonna let it rip.
So we just fart our way into a new planet, into survival. Okay.
I love you, Ruby.
Your face doesn't show it because you're a baby that doesn't know how to act with a weird SCG mouth.
So it was a normal day for you then?
No.
It was a little bit nuts, not gonna lie.
I have the whole universe at my fingertips. And I'm all on my own. So I'd love it if you came with me.
Yeah. Make it this official.
Just travel?
Yeah, just hang out.
We did almost die.
Yes, but we lived so much too.
Yes, we
Oh, that's cool. I like that. I like that line. We live so much too. That's very Sunset.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Oh, I love the energy of these two.
Except,
Oh, terms and conditions.
there is one thing that I can never do. And I'll take you to that church on Ruby Road that Christmas.
But you've got a time machine.
If you change one thing, a single snowflake, that could change your birth mother's story, and then you would never meet me. None of this would ever happen, and we would fall into the deepest, darkest paradox. Ruby, trust me. I think that snow was a warning.
Well, it's a pity. Because I disagree. We are going to go see my mum at Christmas. Right now.
And Ruby phoned. She
Okay.
said, I love you, and ran off.
And then came back 20 seconds later.
What's that noise?
Is it just gonna appear in... It just... through the fucking roof.
Are you, Mummy?
What are you doing?
Some crazy shit just happened. Scanning Ruby Sunday.
The people from my world, they use titles. Like the bishop, the pedant, the saggy she. My name was...
Homo sapiens. 19 years, 3 hours. Okay. It's just gonna run the scan. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see a preview. I'm good. Let me look at that again. Okay, so it's nothing I can really tell. It's just Ruby Sunday. Space babies. That is a very interesting first episode to kick off your show with. I mean, it's not really, because you should have been watching The Church on Ruby Road, but like, it is the first episode of the season, and it's a weird one to just go into this baby storyline. It didn't super dwell on the babies though. It was just fun. Like, and I mentioned while I was watching the episode is that I feel like people have like a very kind of divisive reaction to a bunch of babies, which is to say, I think that a lot of people are just like, oh my god, they're so cute, and then a lot of people are like, fuck those babies, I don't like them, they're fucking gross, get them off me. And I'm closer to the second group of people than the first one. That said, it was just fun. Like, it was just fun. Like, I think that if this was a worse show, the babies would have been like mega evil or whatever, but that's not what it was. It was just fun, and I think that's great, because like, this show, and more than anything, this Doctor, feel like we're just here to have a good time, and I love that. I think my favorite fucking scene in the entire episode was when they realized that Ruby was covered in boogers, and the Doctor is just laughing, and then Ruby just starts going, no, and then she just starts screaming, and then he's losing his fucking shit in the background, and then she just screams, stop laughing, and he keeps going. Like, that had such, like, I don't know, like, comedy YouTube video that's not scripted energy. That was just like two best friends losing their shit. Well, one of them's losing their shit because the other one is so fucking angry, and she just screams, fucking stop, and the other guy's just losing his mind. I love that. That was such a like this is it. Like, this is a good duo. I like this duo. I like this cast. I like this Doctor. I like Ruby. It's good. It's good. It's fun. I will say that I felt like it was a little bit weird. Like, it wasn't, I'm not gonna say it was out of character or anything like that. It was just very quick how they shifted from that's a monster into no, I'm gonna kill myself in order to save it, you know? Like, it makes sense because after the reveal that it is also created by the machine, the Doctor goes like, it's another one of the babies, you know? It just looks a little bit different, which goes hand in hand with what we were saying earlier. It's like the baby was asking like, am I wrong? And the Doctor is like, you're not wrong, you know? Like, everyone is unique and everyone is great, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with any of it. The Doctor goes and explains like, you know, I was also left alone, but like, you know, that doesn't make me any less than anyone else. And he's given this talk to this like weird fucked up grown up babies and he's like, you know what, it's fine, you guys are great. And I do like that the babies were actually not like the babies essentially acted like babies that could talk and were actually really clever. But generally these babies were just babies, right? Like, they are approaching them and treating them like babies, just like, oh, come here, oh, you're doing great, and the babies love it. It's like they are just space babies, right? Like, again, if this was a worse show, I feel like those babies would have been like, don't talk to me like that, I am Captain whatever, or like they would have a little bit of an attitude to them, which could have been fun in their own regard. But then at that point I'm like, well, these babies are like are just assholes, because I feel like that's a funny direction to take it, but it would have become old before the episode ended. So I do like that they were just fun babies, right? They were just weird babies that you could talk to. But it was weird how the boogeyman, I mean, okay, the creation of the boogeyman makes sense, and I actually call that, and I feel good about that. I'm smart. I'm cooking. I'm great at this shit. I was like, it is created by the kids' imagination of it, because of the way the snow was created by the imagination. It's not exactly that, but it was kind of like that. It was like the machine is literal and it's trying to create things that are fictional. It's trying to create this story of the boogeyman. So it creates something that looks freaky and it elicits fear in you, and that is part of its design, because that's how the boogeyman is meant to be, right? And I like that. It's good. I liked it. It was fun. I overcooked. I thought that maybe Jocelyn made the kids stay young forever because she didn't want to watch them die, which I think would have been a fun revelation. Didn't go that direction. That's fine. Doesn't need to. I do like Jocelyn in this episode. I do like her because I do like the idea of like there was this space colony and they had this like the system that grew a bunch of babies because, you know, in the future there's for fucked up reasons you need to start growing babies in labs, and they're like, all right, that's fine. But then the space station, they got defunded or something, and then they were like, well, the company is not going to give us anything anymore, so now we're all just being recalled and we have to leave. And it appears that Jocelyn, I don't know if she was selected or she willingly decided, I'm going to stay here. It makes sense that she willingly decided, I'm going to stay here. And then she just fucking hid in the walls and just started just running this place and taking care of this babies. And I do like that she was just an accountant, right? Like, she's like, I don't know how to run the ship. I was just an accountant. I never knew how to do any of this shit. I just kind of learned over the course of 6 years. And I do like that because it is painted the picture of this person who was just another person in this colony. She was just kind of doing her job as an accountant, just fucking with numbers and shit. And then she saw what was going to happen and what the company did and that everyone had to leave. And she was like, I am not leaving those babies alone. She was the only person that was like, I care too much about these babies in order to just leave them. And that speaks a lot about her character. For it being a one episode character, it's really cool. Kind of makes me think of like Ratman from Portal. If any of you all played Portal or read the comic where Ratman comes from. Just to be quick, Portal is a game where like you're like a test subject that is like you wake up out of this like cryogenic like sleep. You don't remember anything, and you are forced to do all these tests for like this AI machine, and then the AI machine just tries to like kill you after you gather enough data. And then you start finding all this like messages on the walls of like, don't trust her and go here. This is. And then you learn later on like a comic that there was a man that is just referred as Radman, who was like a survivor of the original like a massacre that happened when the AI took over. And then he just lived in the walls hiding. And then he left all this like little messages and shit for whenever a future person would maybe escape this like cryogenic sleep that they're just being forced to do testing and then die. And then this guy just hid in the fucking facility in the walls, just going and crawling around little vents and stuff, and he left all these messages to take care of him. And it reminds me of that a little bit. Because like Jocelyn wasn't showing herself to the babies. Her reasons were not to hide. Her reasons were because she didn't. It was kind of a dark reason. She didn't want to see them die, and she didn't want to die and for them to see it. So it was like I don't want there to be like a physical attachment. So I would rather just keep being the character, the AI of Nanny, it is dark, but I do still like this character being introduced here. I do like that I also caught on that really quickly because I was like the doctor asked Nanny, Annie, tell them that you shouldn't be afraid of the boogeyman, and then Nanny says, I'm afraid of the boogeyman, and I'm like, hold on. Like, first of all, that means that there has to be something about that creature to make you afraid of it, like the doctor said earlier. But also, how is that computer afraid of it? So that's good. The way the babies looked, like, it's very interesting because something Doctor Who has been doing, like now that we have a couple episodes in, we can talk about the CG a little bit because the way they've been doing it, even if you look back like the previous episode with the goblins, River Road, they seem to be doing a mixture of practical and CG, which I think is probably the best thing you could do. Because like if anything is fully CG, I think I don't like it. I usually don't like how that looks. It looks a little bit soulless. However, if you use CG as an enhancer, I do like that. Because also, I like practical effects because I think that is part of the core essence of Doctor Who. When I watch Doctor Who, I want to see a motherfucker in a dumb costume just being like, I'm a monster. And I'm like, hell yeah. That's the peak right there. That's what I want to see. Which is what the Boogeyman was here. And I actually didn't think I thought they used the boogeyman very well in the beginning of the episode, because you don't really see much of it, but what you do see is freaky, right? The way it's moving, and it has this like long fingers, and you only see it on like really quick cuts, and every time you see it, it's like sped up footage. So it's like, and then it cuts away, and that's it. And that's just like a very just, I don't want to say cheap, but it's like a simple way of making something scarier than it actually is. Because later on, as the episode went on and you got to see more of it, it's not as freaky. But that goes well with what the episode is doing, which is at the end is like, hey, we don't want to kill it. It's another baby, really. I do like the way that was handled, but the babies themselves, I wouldn't have done this episode. Like, this is probably not an episode that I would have written, but I think that if you're really committing to this idea and you want to have these babies on screen, then I feel like this is probably the best way to do it. Because, like, the way the babies looked is that they just look like normal ass babies, because they were, but they CG their mouths in order to make them look like they were talking. So they CG'd their mouths so they talk. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. And then they just voiced over that. Or they voiced over and then CG'd over the voiceover. Or maybe they were doing both simultaneously and they don't fully match because of that. Because I feel like the lip flaps didn't fully match, but they match enough for me to not care. The thing that was off was the eyes, you know? Everything that wasn't the mouth. Because their babies weren't acting, because they're babies. They're not child actors or actors in any capacity. They're just babies. So the babies are just... And then it's being dubbed over while they CG them out. It's just like their expression, there was no expression to anything. Which is like, fine, they're babies. I'm not expecting there to be. But if you're committing to this idea, that is something that you have to overlook. Because there's no way to do that other than just fully CG their faces. But if you fully CG their faces, then they would look like fucked up creatures. So it is... This is probably the better way to do it, but it's still gonna look off no matter what you do. I feel like there would still look off this dumb space babies. God, the intro to the episode was so funny. Like, the episode started, immediately the doctor takes Ruby to like the dinosaur era, and there's a bunch of dinosaurs, and Ruby goes like, yeah, but is this safe? What if I step on a butterfly? And they're just like, silly, you never step on a butterfly. That never happens. And then she immediately steps on a butterfly and turns into a fucked up office lizard woman. And then the doctor is like, all right, there he goes. All right, I fixed the timeline. And then he immediately walks back in and he's like, all right, I have to account for the butterfly fixer capacitor. Remind me to turn that on. All right, let's go somewhere else. It's so fucking funny. Like, when that happened, I was like, this is a joke and it's a really good one, but I have no idea how it's gonna land. Like, I was worried that the entire episode would turn into, we need to undo the damage that we just did. But no, it was a joke, which is what it should be. And it was just immediately faced, and then it was like, all right, we're just gonna leave. We're just gonna move on from that. And then it's like, oh, that's so funny. Oh, that's really funny. I really like that. I think that this episode did a lot of things to like acclimate new viewers to the show, which is also what I felt in Ruby Road, which is also what Russell T Davies did already once before with Rose. This had moments of Rose that I liked, but it's this thing of like the episode starts and it explains to you how the TARDIS works. It explains everything you need to know about the Doctor. It explains about the rules of time travel a little bit with doing a joke with a butterfly and stuff, and then they're just like, we're just gonna fix that. And then it's like, well, let me go and do the fixer that ensures that things like that don't happen. But then it also tells you that they could happen if you're careless, which is kind of how the rules of this shit work in Doctor Who, which is like, whatever, man, which is good because you're learning that that's how the show works. It's like, it could be fucked up, but we can also fix it, so don't worry about it. Then we go into Space Colony, and then we have that moment, which very much mirrors the moment with Rose, I think, in The End of the World, which is the second episode of season 1, where the Doctor takes Rose to this, like, the burning of planet Earth when it finally dies, and Cassandra's the last human, which is just a patch of skin. By the way, Cassandra, Was she the first transgender character in Doctor Who? Unclear, I don't remember. But trans rights, Cassandra was transgender if you remember correctly, which was very progressive for 2005. Because I vividly remember Cassandra going like, when I was born as a young boy, and I was like, oh, cool. Because like at that point it doesn't matter, right? It's like this is literally just a sentient patch of skin. Like, why would that matter at this point? But there was that scene where Ruby, like the windows like open, and then she's looking at the space and the planet down below, and she's like, wow, this is wonderful. It kind of reminded me of that moment of when Rose is watching the planet burn, and it's just like, this is nuts. And it's like, yeah, I love this new Doctor and this new Doctor's philosophy. I love it. And I loved it, like, when he's talking to the 14th Doctor, to David again. And I would love it if we call the 14th Doctor that. David again. That's his actual title. The David again Doctor. But I love this. I love Shrudi's Doctor's philosophy. Or just everything about the way he carries himself. Like, he's here to have a good time. And he enjoys this like freedom and just getting to see things and getting to just go around and see what you encounter. Like, he had this moment in this episode where he was saying like, why was I afraid? I'm never afraid. I love discovering new things and seeing what happens, you know? And that feels so true to his Doctor specifically, right? Because like I can see other Doctors just running and being like, well, you know, like on a pragmatic level, it's like it makes sense for you to like run away when you don't know what's gonna happen. It's like, yeah, we'll wait and see. But then this Doctor is like, no, I just run in. So I love that about this Doctor, and I love how much fun he's having the whole time, and he's like convincing Ruby to have fun as well, and Ruby is right there with him. That makes Ruby really fun. I had a moment while I was watching this where I was like, I'm liking Ruby a lot now. It was just when they were running from the boogeyman before the boogeyman was trapped. But there was a moment where Ruby was running and then she was just screaming, I'm running, and it was just like so funny. Because like there's something so funny about like, you're not running and like running for your life. She's running, but she's also just screaming about running. It kind of reminded me a little bit about Donna, how Donna had a little bit of attitude where she was just very loud about everything. That's not Ruby, but it had like a hint of it, and I was like, oh, that's good. I like that Ruby is just like screaming as she's doing things, and then she's just kind of goes like, ah, that was fun. So I'm loving this Doctor, and I already said that like when we had the first episode, Ruby Road, but I loved it in this one because now we're out of the like the intro to the character. Now we're moving into more of the status quo, so now you get a better flavor of like what his episodes are going to be, because like Church and Ruby Road feels like an introduction to a show. You're kind of following Ruby Sunday. Now this feels a little bit more like, okay, this is what the show is going to be. And I love that because I'm seeing what the show is going to be, and I'm like, oh, this is fun. This is so fun. Love having fun with Doctor Who. Like, not every episode of Doctor Who is like super like dumb fun, but this one is. And whenever it happens, I'm like, I'm delighted, because that is such a like RTD era of the show thing that I really missed. Like, okay, looking back at the eras of the show, and I feel bad bringing this topic of conversation again, but like it's what's on my mind, and it's the beginning. We can do this once and then be done with that. But looking at like different showrunners going backwards, the Chibnall era, which we just came out of, I felt like it was kind of safe, and I wouldn't say it was for me. I wouldn't say it was bad either, but it was a choice that I wouldn't have made. But I also saw how a lot of people really loved it. And I think that it was I feel like it was a more safe show. Like, it felt like that era of the show felt a lot more like, you know, like it's playing on the TV and you just watch it and it's like, yeah, that was good. And then you kind of move on. And then it tried to do a couple crazy things that didn't quite land in like the final season. But I'm talking more like seasons like 11 and 12. but there were a couple of like really good episodes thrown in there, and they felt very respectful, right? I enjoyed watching Demons of the Punjab. That was one of the highlights for me. Fugitives of Doom was kind of nuts. That stood out to me. Ultimately, I don't know if it landed very well, but I do like that as a standalone episode because I remember watching it like very close to when it dropped, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Because it was a very random episode that just came out of nowhere, and I kind of liked that. But like overall, it felt very safe to me. It felt like very much like we're going on adventures and we're fixing problems and not helping people, and then we're moving on. And we have like some like fun characters, but not they're not very explosive or like highly characterized. They're nice to have around. If we go back another era, we hit Moffat, and Moffat felt like different eras because it also was very long lasting. But I didn't really like the Matt Smith era very much. I didn't, especially like Series 5, kind of fine. Series 6 and 7 really lost me, but even 5 had its issues. I felt like Moffat had a lot of issues writing women in particular, if we're being completely honest. And I also felt like the show was very concerned about being trying to be quirky and, succeeding to different levels and just trying to be clever. Really, it felt like it was trying to be clever at everything that it was doing. The Pierre Capaldi era felt still like it had hints of that. It still felt like it was a show that was trying to be clever, and at times it succeeded and other times it did not. Because like the thing about Moffat is that I think his strengths came from like coming up with like really great concepts and stories, but then when it came to the execution, it felt like he was a little bit just going in too hard on like what he thought was interesting, on like what he thought was entertaining, when it ultimately really wasn't. So when we go to the RTD era, I'm talking about series 1 through 4, it felt like if I had to define it in like one word, it would be heart. It had a lot of heart. It felt like everyone in that era cared so much. Like it felt like every character cared about each other and something about them. And it felt like everyone who was putting work into it also really deeply cared. It felt like moving into Moffat era, it felt like the Moffat era was more concerned about the script and having something like an interesting idea, concept, or execution. But the RTD era felt more like there is a lot of heart to this, which ultimately, to me personally, made it feel more enjoyable because everyone is having a good time. Like the show wants me to have a good time, and I am having a good time. Like my favorite scene in this episode was when Ruby is covered in fucking boogers and the Doctor is just losing his shit, and I'm like, that's honestly, that's my favorite thing. It's seeing these characters just have so much like fun with each other, just having a good one. If this was like Matt Smith, it felt like he would have tried really hard to be quirky, and then we would have just moved on. But no, this one was just people just loudly laughing and then just yelling at each other, and then oh fuck, and then we gotta run, right? That's kind of how it went, and I really like that. It's just really human. It just feels really human to me, and that's something I love about that era of the show. And it feels immediately like we're back, immediately, and that's why I'm bringing this up. Is that this feels to me like it really is a return to that style of storytelling, right? Those characters. It feels like we're just here to have a good time. It feels like these people care and they're having a blast, and I'm happy to see them, and that makes me feel so good. Watching this was made me feel so good. And like everything about this episode too, like how much Jocelyn cared about the babies, how much the babies cared about, being alone and nanny and wanting to see mommy and daddy and whatever. Like everyone cares so much about everything. How Ruby cares about the fact that she doesn't see her parents. That immediately got to her when they talk about that at the end of the episode. Now let's talk about that actually. The doctor is like, we have one rule, you can't go, we can't go see your mom. So that immediately like solves an issue that I saw immediately when we left the episode of the church on Burger Road at the end of that episode, I was like, there's no way Ruby doesn't immediately tell the doctor, let's go see my mom, because like that's what her entire character is. So it makes sense that in the first episode, the doctor is like, we can't do that. That's the only rule. And the doctor's reasoning is that he had that like moment with the snow, and he was like, that felt like a warning to me. And something about the doctor that I think it's easy to forget, but this is immediately what I thought, is that the doctor does have like supernatural powers that just kind of happen. they just kind of happen according to the script. But something that the doctor has said before, has done before, is that he has like he's a very much awareness of the place that things have in space time and how they feel right or wrong to him, like instinct. He has said this before. So when he had that snowflake like fall and melt on his hand, and he was like in that moment, and when it happened, he had a new memory that maybe unlocked, and that happened to him. Maybe he felt something that was like, that's bad, that's wrong, I don't want to fuck with that. So like when later in the episode, he's like, we can't do that. Maybe he's because he got a really bad feeling out of it, and I think that you can like see it, right? So that is definitely what the season storyline is going to be like. I don't know how it's going to be, how it's going to work, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. So he did say something that we didn't see last episode, which was the figure that left Ruby turned around and like pointed. It was like this kind of point. Now, we have no fucking clue what that was. The immediate theory that I said last episode was Ruby, that's Ruby, right? Like either Ruby's her own mom or Ruby delivered herself. Either way, it's like, that's Ruby, that person there. But now I'm thinking that feels too easy to guess. So I think that maybe it's something else, someone else. But the better question is, why did that memory like unlock? Because I think that's something the doctor said in the episode. I think he specifically said it, like a memory unlocked or changed. So now I'm thinking that like we saw in this episode, that was something that was changed. That was something that he saw at first, the first time, but then now he's remembering it differently because the events change in time somehow. Either he changed it, or Ruby changed it, or someone else changed it, which is what takes us later. That the fact that there's probably going to be a big bad. I don't know what the big bad is going to be, but it might be something. And it might be the master, because we saw that little bit at the giggle at the end. So it could be that. I don't know. But like, that's what I'm thinking. That's where my mind is at right now. Other than that, I don't know what that mystery could be like. But the doctor immediately started scanning Ruby, which is interesting. So right there at the end of the episode, they just bursted through Ruby's like roof. I mean, they didn't burst through it, they materialized into it, so it just broke immediately. The doctor immediately started scanning, okay, what's up with Ruby? Scanning her DNA, being like, what is her origin? What is there to know about her? Because I'm guessing he's immediately sensing that there's something wrong with her. Or maybe he's questioning also her origins because there's something wrong with her origins. For a second, I thought that he was going to reveal that Ruby's a Time Lord or something. Because like when he started the scan, he started talking about like, so my people, and he started talking about like, yeah, we have titles like the doctor or like whatever, and he just started going through the titles as that was rolling. And I thought for a second that it was just gonna show a reveal of like name the Rani or whatever, like Ruby's the Rani. It's like, oh, that's the reveal. I never would have seen that coming, which honestly I wouldn't. that would be fucking crazy. His reveal was Ruby's actually the Rani. For those of you who don't know, the Rani is a classic Doctor Who villain that only appeared like twice, but I liked her. She was in the first 7 Doctor episode, and I remember when was she prior to that? Was it 6th? Was it the 6th Doctor? What are the Rani appearances? I like the Rani because she has this like fucked up like MILF/GILF vibe to her, bad and mean, and that's like cool. On August 2012, Davy's successor Stephen Moffat stated that he had no reason to bring back the Rani. Shut the fuck up, man. Yeah, she was in a Sixth Doctor episode, The Mark of the Rani, and then she came back in Time and the Rani, which was the first episode of the Seventh Doctor. So, you know, she was in there for like really just very quick succession returns here for the Rani. But I remember her. I thought she was fun. But yeah, I don't know what Ruby's origins are. And now it was the Doctor, and he's scanning, and for some reason I get the feeling that the TARDIS, and this is gonna be wild, but the TARDIS is gonna be like unknown, and that's gonna be crazy because it's like, if the TARDIS doesn't know, who the fuck are you? So yeah, I think that might be it. I don't know what else I can say about this episode. Again, I can't get used to this Doctor Screwdriver. The screwdriver looks like a Tamagotchi. It really does. Or like a very old like MP3 player or something. Like, not even an MP3, it's like a CD player. Like a portable CD player, which were a thing. But not as big, but kind of similar in shape. Like, that just also looks very uncomfortable to hold. It really does. I look at it and I just think it's Tamagotchi, really. He's fucking taking care of his Digimon in there. Anyway, weird ass episode to bring up just a bunch of babies on your first episode of your first season. I also think it was a little bit sudden how they just immediately shifted into like, oh, we have to save this thing, because I think that the boogeyman, they spent the whole episode running away from it and being like, oh, what's up with this thing, and eventually when they find out where it comes from, they immediately go into like, no, we gotta save it, to the point that when Jocelyn was pacing it, and she was saying these things of like, I'll do anything in order to save my children or whatever. She was saying that and she was venting it, and I got the vibe of like, okay, she's acting evil now, or not evil, but like in a manner that is presented to you as an evil act. Someone who's like, okay, she's losing it a little bit, we need to stop her. But then I wasn't sure if the episode was going to go for it, right? I wasn't sure if the episode was going to be like, no, stop, or if they were going to be like, well, yeah, let's space it. A little bit drastic, but you know, maybe it's the best. It's for the best, you know, to take care of the children. Like, I don't know. I didn't know what the episode was going to do. And that's why it was sudden for me. Because if it hadn't been sudden, I would have understood exactly the Doctor being like, no, we need to stop her. But because I was unsure, it means that I think the episode did a little bit of a poor job into making me feel like I should care of it and save it. It felt like it like very suddenly swerved into like, no, we have to save this thing now, which I am not against. I like that idea. I like that direction to take the episode. I like the direction to take the storyline. I just felt like maybe it needed like one more minute of characters like talking about it and being like, you know, this thing is good now. It felt like the reason why the Doctor had that moment of like, you know, this thing is also alone in the universe. Like, he was thinking to himself saying those things, and it felt like that was there in order to make you understand that this thing shouldn't just be space, you know, should be saved, should try to be like helped or reasoned with in some way, you know. But I think that we definitely needed like a minute before to have the characters talking about like, well, like, you know, this is another sentient thing and we should take care of it. Because they had a moment where they talked about it, but they talked about it in a manner of, oh, this is the reveal of the mystery, this is what it was all along, and then we laugh about the fact that it's boogers. But we didn't have a conversation where the heart of it came through, which is, you know, this thing is just another baby like everyone else, and it probably deserves to be taken care of as well. And then they like go like, yeah, you know what, you're right, that's an interesting point of view, and then they have to run away. And then we go into the spacing thing, you know, like something like that. That's what I think. But what do I know? I'm not a showrunner. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this episode. I don't know if there's anything else I can talk about. Hello, extra little bit that I'm recording here a couple hours after I watched the episode later. I was just rewatching it and there were a couple of things that I realized I didn't mention, mostly because I just forgot. Because I just kind of went through that discussion really quickly because I needed to go do something. But something three things that I just want to mention really quickly. First off is at the end of that episode, there's snow again. You know, when the doctor is scanning Ruby and he walks away, it starts snowing inside the TARDIS. And I don't actually know if that matters at all. And I'm inclined to say that it doesn't. I'm inclined to say that like that snow is more of a signifier of like this is gonna be a mystery moving forward. So if anything, I think it just links up to that scene that we had earlier, which all links up to Ruby Road, the church where we see the event of Ruby being deposited on the church again. So if anything, something that it makes me think is that moving forward, we might want to start looking up for scenes with snow in them, right? Because maybe we'll see more snow happen, and whenever snow happens, maybe it's a signifier of like, I need to pay attention to whatever's happening on screen right now because this might matter to a grander storyline, or maybe it's nothing. So that's what I'm thinking. Something else that I thought about that I wanted to talk about and then I forgot is that at the very end they show up at Ruby's house. They just break through the ceiling. I actually like that because it makes me think that we're gonna get Ruby's family in on it, in on the idea of like, you know, this is my friend the doctor, he's an alien and we just travel around, right? Now, like, and that's something that I really, really enjoy. I really enjoy having, you know, the family, the extended family be in on it. And they, because they know the secret, then they become part of the cast in turn. They are not super main cast, but they matter enough for us to see them again. You know, like Jackie for Rose. You know, like Jackie showed up several times and she was important in several storylines, but she wasn't a companion. But because she knew about the doctor and there was kind of a link that was created there, then that she became a real character. Or Wilf, or just like the entirety of Donna's family that we saw just like a couple episodes ago. Like, these are all characters that are just the families of the companions, but I think getting them in on the know of what the Doctor is and what the TARDIS is and what we're doing, like, that opens the possibility in order to actually grab these characters and bring them along, not necessarily on travels, on journeys, but as in like we might have a storyline where it takes place in like the present time, and because it takes place in the present time, we might have those characters be real and characters we interact with, which in turn makes Ruby's family and Ruby herself feel more like developed, more established, more real. I like that. I'm not sure if that is exactly what we're gonna do, but the fact that the TARDIS just materialized indoors and then it just pretty nonchalantly opened the door and then they just started talking makes me think that they're probably not gonna be super shy about that secret. So that's something I'm really excited about. I really like this. And the final thing I probably want to mention is abortion allegory. Very, very quickly, because like it was dropped and I feel like I was stuck on complaining about capitalism when the conversation immediately moved into abortion, which was a good one too. I like that because I was stuck on like, oh, the company like told all those people to fucking leave and go home, and I was like, oh man, that company fucking sucks. But then the conversation went into, yeah, so you're telling me that this the law says that you can't stop these babies from growing, but then they actually don't give a shit about what happens to them after they are born. And then the lady is like, yeah, it's a pretty weird world out there. And Ruby's like, it's more normal than you think. That's good. I like that. Because that's such a like reality that fucking sucks. It really does, because it's like we have all these countries, not every country, but we have a lot of them. And I don't know what the stance is in the UK right now, but it's probably not great. But it's like, yeah, like women don't have autonomy over their own bodies. Because, like, I keep seeing, like, the other day I saw a boomer meme, and it wasn't like making fun of it, but it was a boomer meme, and it was like a picture of like the outline of a pregnant woman, and inside there was like a full ass baby, and it was like an image of like a syringe stabbing the baby in the head. And it was one of those like drawings that it was like, look at what they do to our beautiful babies. And it's like, well, abortion happens so early on that it's not even for it's just good. So like, but boomers love to bring up the fact that it's like, oh, look at this full-on baby that you're stabbing in the head. And it was also like a text that was like, imagine if you're barely conscious in your mother's womb and then somebody just stabs you, and it's like, that's not how it works. You wouldn't be barely conscious, and also that's not how abortion works. But then after babies are born, it's like, well, now we don't care about them anymore, right? Like now we don't actually want to give these people any sort of like free services in order to ease their living. We don't actually care about giving out like public services and support. So if the baby fucking dies like a year later, that's not my fucking problem. I just want the woman to suffer. So that's the reality of the world a lot of the times. Not in every country, but in a lot of them. Anyway, dark note to end this video on. I'm sorry, but it was just something that I noticed, and I was like, I want to talk about it, but before I forget, before I move far away from it. But I think that's probably it. I don't know if there was anything else I can say about this episode. Actually, let me skim through it again just to see if there's something else I can say, so we don't end the video on abortion. I mean, we're gonna end in like a fart joke. Because that's exactly how the episode ended. They were like, well, the doctor is like, well, I could like grab all you guys and like move you with me with my TARDIS. However, I'm not gonna do that. What I'm gonna do instead is that I'm going to grab the ship that you guys have. You have a storage that is full of shit. And I'm gonna use that in order to make the ship fart. And the fart will be enough of a push for the ship to move in the direction we need it to move. Because in space, it also means that you don't have air resistance. So that means that any like push you have in any direction is not going to get deaccelerated. So it's just one fart and it's like, well, we're moving now. And it's like, yeah, there we go. We're done. Thanks, Doctor, for farting our colony back home. That's such a like dumb solution. It's so stupid. It's a stupid enough that I'm sure that there's people that are like upset that it's so dumb. It's like, I can't believe Doctor Who, like this first second episode and they're already doing dumb shit, and it's like, I like my Doctor Who being dumb personally. I enjoy it because I think it's fun to laugh. And that's something Doctor Who does really well. I think Doctor Who makes me feel happy. So it's like really fucking dumb, but I'm into it. Because it's also like, I was looking at it again, like the ship looks like a butt. Like if you look at it, it's like, it looks like a butt that's farting. It's so stupid, but I'm kind of like, I have to kind of applaud them for even doing it to begin with, because that's so dumb. That's dumb enough that I feel like maybe I wouldn't do it. And I am someone that I like doing dumb shit all the time. But even I would have like a moment of like, I don't know if I want to do the ship fart. But then Russell Davis was like, nah, man, I got this. All right, we end the video on fart jokes. Good job, everybody. Yeah, we can call it now. That's gonna be it for this Doctor Who video. I haven't watched the second episode yet, but I will whenever I have the time. I still have to edit all of this, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. See you guys next time. Bye. And alright everyone, thank you so much for watching this episode reaction to Doctor Who. If you'd like to watch full-length reactions to these things, you can do so on my Patreon. This one though is for free, but if you want to watch the other episodes, you can do so on the Patreon, support the channel, you help me out, get groceries and stuff. See you guys next time. Take care everybody, bye bye.